Crypto closed the week pretty high and it looks kind of bullish out there for the long term. And I mean, within now and a year. But what happens in the meantime could be a little deceiving. Also in this video, I would like to show you the top 5 low cap altcoins that I'm going to buy once the market really turns around. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. And I don't just say that, really like the video. It helps me a lot. Also, check out the Patreon. There's a link down below for exclusive content, which is super valuable. So do check it out. Now, like I said, I want to give my top 5 low caps. That doesn't mean that it's time to buy them right now, okay? But I don't want to be the guy that waits for things to really be too late, actually, and then comes with, well, buy this, buy this. Let's front run this fucking market right here with each other, right? We can do this. And I see a lot of people ask the same question over and over and over. And the Altcoin Daily posted it. Should I sell my Ethereum for Solana? Well, of course, Altcoin Daily is not looking for advice on their Twitter, but they are looking for engagement. But if you read through the comments, a lot of people say yes. I see a lot of people say, no, you just buy this. But if the question is, should I sell my Ethereum for Solana? A lot of people say yes, because, hey, Solana is going to be the outperformer, right? It's going to be the next ETH killer, like all these layer ones supposed to be. And it is funny, however, that Solana is now number 5 already, right? It's under BNB, but not by far. And I can definitely see Solana being a top 3 coin, right? Because, you know, getting ahead of BNB, it's not far from here, like we said. Getting ahead of Tether, that's not that hard as well, because people don't even need to buy Solana for that. They just need to deploy USDT into the altcoin market or into Bitcoin or whatever, and the market cap of USDT goes down, so Solana automatically comes ahead of it. So my top 3 for this bull run would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. That's what I think. But a lot of people have that question, like, yeah, you know, Ethereum is not doing anything, and Solana is doing something. So should I swap it? That's the wrong, like, I just want to mention that real quick. This right here is the Sol ETH chart. And if you look at this chart right here, it's a gamble that you're taking, right? Because a lot of altcoin charts look like this, where they go to the top of the range, lower side of the range, top of the range, right? To be honest, here was the time to swap your ETH into Solana. Here is the time to swap your Solana back into ETH. Now, don't blame me if it does break out, because that's what I don't know. But usually a chart that looks like this is going to do that, right? This support, this resistance. So here it bounces and here it gets rejected. You can gamble your way into like, well, it's going to not be rejected for much longer and it's going to break out. Hey, do your thing, right? But that's what I would do. I personally don't have Solana in my portfolio anymore. Although I think it can go up more. I think Solana had a great rally, to be honest. But for me, it's now time to look into coins that actually have a lot of potential. And I don't see Solana do like a 10 or 20x from this point. A 10x if things really get crazy. But other than that, I would say that's it. Now, before we jump into the top 5 coins, I do want to go over the market, because you can already skip towards the top 5 coins, but that's useless if you do not know about the market. That's most important, okay? So let me jump into that real quick, because what do we see on the Bitcoin chart right here? What I see are lower highs, right? And lower lows. So although we had a nice pump and people get a little bullish again, right? We are still in a downtrend, okay? So that means that we are likely going to go lower. It sounds like I'm always saying the things people don't want to hear, right? But it's what it is, right? In the downtrend, things go lower. And at a certain point, yeah, it will break out. However, we do not know if this is the exact point. It will happen this year, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. I'm fucking bullish, okay? But in the shorter term, things can go down, of course, with high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, right? And we just put in a lower high. Again, you know, assuming that this was the high, we can also do something like this, right? But assuming this was the high, then it's actually pretty weak, because the low was way lower than this one. And this high was way lower than this one, right? This high until this high was not that diminishing. right? This high as well, this high as well. But this one was way lower. So in fact, the trend is getting more aggressive to the downside. Now, it sounds stupid to always say like, this is your last chance. But I think that this is the last chance. Honestly, okay? Honestly. And with last chance, I don't mean like today. I mean this period. I think August, September is going to be the last chance. Now, I have some cash. I've taken some profits. I'm going to go over the altcoin chart in a bit. And with that cash, I'm going to buy crypto back, of course, right? I'm not going to buy some stupid shit. I want to be exposed to crypto because I think it's going to go up hard, right? So if I now buy a nice car for 50K, eventually I paid 500K for that car. I don't want to do that, right? So I'm not cashing out real stuff right now. But I'm gonna wait, right? I'm gonna wait because if you, and I said this in the last video as well, but if you look at the, I was already here. If you look at the rate cuts, which are likely going to happen in September, right? If you look at the last time we got rate cuts, was here, where Bitcoin was sitting at 13K. And eventually, COVID not included, we went to 6.5. So we dumped 50% after we got rate cuts, right? Now, it depends. Are you getting rate cuts because we are in a recession or not? So far, we're not. But there are some signals flashing right now. So I'm a little cautious. So I feel very comfortable with the fact that I have crypto in case everything goes parabolic. But I also feel very comfortable with a good amount of cash, which is actually not enough if you ask me. But I can always stack up on that, of course. But you know, if we do get a good crash, I'm not saying 50% or anything, but if we do get a good crash, yeah, I want to take advantage of that, right? I don't want to, you know, be all in and watch that crash happen and be like, shit, now I just wait, pray, hope, right? And then eventually it goes up. I want to take advantage of it. So that's what I would recommend. There are a couple of charts that look quite interesting, though. I want to go over that, and we'll jump into the top 5 in a minute. If we look at Bitcoin on the weekly, yeah, it closed pretty good on the week, so that's nice. And it closed at really important levels, actually. It closed above this low right here of 55.5. We are sitting almost 10K above that, so that's really good. And if we take a look at the monthly chart, this is a, like I said, a fuck the bear hammer. You take that bear hammer and you smack them bears, right? It's beautiful. This is like, it was showing weakness and the strength is all over the place right now. So that's really beautiful to see. What's less beautiful to see is the Bitcoin dominance still feels like, yeah, let's keep on going up, right? And I feel like, what? No, don't do that. If you look at the Bitcoin dominance, you can see that it really depends on how you draw it, right? One certain drawing it already broke out a little bit and the other it didn't. On the weekly, I think it kind of, I don't know. The Bitcoin dominance is at least sitting still at major resistance. And that's interesting, right? That's interesting because this is the chart that shows like, hey, what about Altseason? And that's what we all want to know, of course, right? As the dirty degens we are, we don't care about Bitcoin, right? We don't care about stable 10 or 20x's without a lot of risk. No, we like the 30x's with a lot of risk, right? For some reason. But yeah, whatever. If that's the case, then you want to look at this chart, right? And this is still sitting at the point where I think like, okay, we could stay here for a while. We can maybe have a fake out or whatever. But eventually, I think that this is the area where we are going to break down and going to see an alt season. And I still stand by what I said for like a year right now. End of this year, beginning next year is what I assume. So, you know, prepare if you agree with that. The DXY looks juicy, looks really juicy because this thing has been going down quite hard, right? And if the dollar is weakening, then risk assets are usually doing well. And that's what you see with the S&P. Also, if you look at the S&P at this hammer right here, this is a really good chart right there, right? NASDAQ looking kind of the same as well, of course. And Bitcoin, it is looking okay, but Bitcoin is in a downtrend for the last half year. The S&P is in an uptrend for the last half year, right? If you take a look at the S&P and you overlay Bitcoin and you really put it on a monthly chart, right? So quite of a high time frame, you can see that overall they're pretty correlated, right? They're pretty correlated if you look at it like this. They move somewhat the same, right? And on the shorter term, yeah, I mean, you know, Bitcoin went down a little bit, S&P went up a little bit, and everybody be like, oh, it's not correlated anymore, fuck this, I'm out. It's like, nah, that happens more often, right? Here as well, the S&P kind of went up, Bitcoin kind of went down, and eventually they are correlated again. So I think that that's kind of the same what we are seeing right now. But nevertheless, the DXY taking a good hit of 3% in a month, that's a huge candle, right? Last time we saw that was, this wasn't even that big. Then we're speaking about this one in November 2022. Right? November 2022. That was the real downward scandal hard for the DXY. And kind of what happened after that for Bitcoin was the real rally. So it doesn't happen in real time. It takes some time, right? This is like a long-term correlation. Now, about the altcoin market, if we look at that, then you can see that we are still in the downtrend. And I said this a couple of times, like, guys, look, this is a heavy downtrend for the altcoin market, right? We get to the top, down, not even close to the top, down, right? And now I said, like, hey, guys, once we get close to this point, I'm taking some profits off the table. And I did. I said on my Twitter as well, like, DCAing out of some profits right now. And some people said, like, what? But that only makes sense because I was lucky enough, I don't know, to buy really low. And if I look at this chart, then this is what's going to happen, right? Until it stops trending like that, right? So there's a very, very, very realistic chance that the altcoin market sees a lower low, right? Maybe not lower, maybe the same, maybe double bottom, whatever, but goes down, right? Maybe it breaks out from here. Hey, that's what I don't know. But in a downtrend, saying that something can go down is the smartest thing to do, right? So at the top of a downtrend, it's the smartest thing to take some profits if you have them. And that's what I have. So I took some profits right here. And I think it's like 8% of my total portfolio. Something wild guess, something like that, right? Nothing too crazy. So if it goes up like this from here, I'm not missing out on anything, right? I'm good. But it's a nice extra 8% if the market goes down here, which I can deploy in the altcoin market once again, because over the longer term, yeah, I expect things to do really well. Now, about the top 5, I want to be very clear though, because this is all the most important information. So if you were someone who skipped straight to the top 5, you missed the most important part and you're going to get wrecked anyway, right? That's just what it is. You can buy coins, but if you don't know why to buy them, when to buy them, how to buy them, you're going to end yourself getting wrecked. So about the top 5, I think that the altcoin market, you know, has a good chance of going down. I'm giving my top 5 low caps right here, right? So not like the AVAXs, etc. So if this move happens, then your low caps get wrecked for, I don't know, 40, 50%, right? So if you feel like I'm going to buy it right now, I'm going all in, prepare to get wrecked and to blame me for it, okay? Prepare for me to laugh at you then. I want you to make money, right? But I want you to understand this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get heavy into these low caps as soon as the market breaks out. I will miss out on the bottom in that case. That's fine. That's fine. Because you also take away a lot of risk that way. And I'm not in this market to risk a lot. If you are here with a certain amount of money that you're willing to take a lot of risk with, then it's a different story. But that's not for me. So I want to be very clear about that. So let's get into those. Now, I want to give a couple of honorable mentions. I do think that AVAX is going to be a big outperformer. I do think that Render is going to be a big outperformer. Okay, these are coins that I think are going to outperform really well, and that I would have way higher on top of my list if it wasn't for low caps. All right, I think OXO will do fantastic as well. I look at this line and I feel, or box, and I feel like, man, huge support, huge support. I mean, if we break this to the downside, yeah, then we're fucked, right? Great entry though, but then we're fucked. I think it could really hold here. So let's get right into it. First, please like the video, just to help me out, help you out, help everybody out. Would be nice. First one is playable games. Why do I pick these coins? I don't want to just give them to you, but I also want to say why I picked them. Well, first off, gaming. I think we can all agree gaming is going to be huge, right? I don't even want to explain why. Gaming is just going to be huge, okay? Now, this is a gaming studio, right? So it's more than a single game. What the nice thing is, though, so it's low risk, right? What the nice thing is, though, it kind of has the market cap of a single game, right? And I'll hold some, as you can see already, by the way. I don't know why it's always showing this, but then we'll go more heavy into this, right? I'm sitting right at my entry point, by the way. That's stupid. I want some profits right now. But it has a $16 million market cap. Can I change this to English, by the way? This fucking sucks, man. It also has a 16 million fully diluted market cap. So the economics are really good. Now it's built on AVAX. AVAX is going to be one of the biggest L1s. It already is, but it's going to be one of the biggest winners in this cycle. Why? It works. It is cheap. It is fast. Same as Solana. It's getting easier and easier to build on. Their sidechains are awesome. And the biggest game in crypto ever, by far, off the grid, is coming to AVAX. That's not for no reason. They chose AVAX for a reason as well, right? And a lot of good stuff is going to happen on AVAX. So the ecosystems built on AVAX, yeah, are gonna rock. That's a given, in my opinion. Now, this all goes, these are low caps, right? These are high risk coins. It could definitely be that it turns out that a couple of these coins don't even survive because they just fucked something up. That could be. That's the thing with high risk coins. So if Playable Games is not around in a year from now, whatever, you can always come to me and be like, fucking loser. But yeah, that's what I don't know. That's the risk that you take for these high rewards. I hope we all can understand that. Next, oh yeah, and by the way, the chart is just juicy as shit, right? If you look at this chart right here, then I feel like, man, this whole area, yeah, beautiful, between 1 and 1.6. It's beautiful. And also, if you look what run it had in this last run-up, this was like, that's so beautiful. This looks like a alt season, right? It wasn't by far, it was not an alt season though. But we are pretty likely to get that. So how would it look then? That's all I can ask myself. And I cannot wait to get the answers. Oh, man. But yeah, unfortunately, we ain't got the answers, Wayne. Now, the next one is Domi Online. Same kind of narrative, higher risk though. Domi Online is a single game, also built on AVAX. And Domi Online it's kind of RuneScape, right? And here I am once again with the games, I know. But just like Playable, it showed like, hey, when the market pumps with 5x, this thing outperforms like fucking crazy. This did a 40x or so. Especially because it was so low cap. But the nice thing is we're getting quite close to that again. Back to the cycle highs is already a 9x. I think that these coins should be at least higher than here. They should. think they will, but they should. Also, I don't know if I mentioned that already, but also build on AVAX. And it was good, right? Like a lot of people, they are going with the hype. But the problem is, once there is hype, it's already priced in by a lot. Here was no hype, none. Then there was hype. And the price showed like, hey, once there's hype, we are here. Now there's no hype. Are you going to wait for the hype and then step in? Or are you going to research this, find out that it's probably going to have hype, and step in before the hype comes? I'm going to go with the last. Next one is engine starter. On a regular chart, everything looks dead, by the way. But if you zoom in far enough, it's quite okay. So first, I want to go to the market cap of engine starter. So engine starter is a launchpad. And again, I want to be very clear. Launchpads are within my top 3 narratives, together with gaming and probably AI. Right? Launchpads are going to be insane outperformers in this bull market. This is risky for me to say, but I want to look at you and say, believe me, okay? I promise you. It's quite obvious. In a market where everybody has money, people want to get into new projects, and they do that through launchpads. And again, we have already seen that, right? We have already seen what happened with the market once it all goes up. Launchpads and engine starter is not really the best example because it already kind of pumped before that, right? It was already steadily going up right here all the time. But launchpads outperformed. I'd see the file outperformed. Spot, they all did, by the way. I can name them all, but they all outperformed, right? Now, engine starter is just actually a good launchpad. They have some stuff to do, in my opinion. They have some UI things and make it more user-friendly, etc., etc. But they're here to stay, in my opinion. Tokenomics are getting better as well. I mean, if you look at the all-time high price, sitting at like 20 cents, right? It's now sitting at 0.002, 100 times as low. However, if you look at market cap, was higher there. I don't know how much exactly, but it wasn't sitting at 800 million. Right, so not 100 times as low. It's because a lot of tokens came into circulation. So now it's a better buy than there, in my opinion, because there are not a lot of tokens that are going to get dumped on you. $8 million for a launchpad. I don't know, man. Looks pretty good. And this is one that I'm going to get in as well once the market turns around. Now, yeah, I don't know. If you look at this price right here, it is sitting quite near the lows, right? And it could definitely be that this thing is trying to form a bottom right here. We had the bottom right here in 22, 23, and we found that same place right there again as well. However, from this place until the high, it pumped 10x. 10x, right? That's crazy. So, and we are now sitting at the same level, right? So, is it 10x quite of a given? Yeah, it could definitely be, actually, that this is a given. So, this is one that I feel like, yeah, this should be really good. Should be really good. Another one, which is quite similar, is SpartanX. Now, I think, one of the first to talk about SpartanX. And before it came out, you could have do some farming to get these tokens, and you got an airdrop. Then, of course, everybody sold the airdrop. And from this point, the market turned around, and low caps, they flew, right? Launchpads, they flew. So what did the low cap launchpad? It did a 16x. Crazy shit, right? Now it's sitting back at these levels. It could be that it's trying to do the same as engine starter, where it's trying to form that double bottom, right? This is a crazy level. This level is insane, right? Really insane. So if it bottoms right here, yeah, then the next best level is 55 cents, which is a 6x from this point. And that could happen fast, right? I mean, here you had a green week of 160%, followed by a 60% green week, followed by a 50% green week, followed by a 34% green week, followed by a 50% green week. That's compounding. That's crazy, right? Crazy. So Spartadex, what they just did is what I really like. So for the people that don't know what it is, it's also a launchpad, but it's also a gamified DEX. And it's built on Linear. They were first on Arbitrum. They're now on Linear, but Linear is not getting the adoption. But I think that they are thinking about that. And as you can see, I'm in a good loss right here, right? It's too bad. Too bad. Come on. It's also at the lowest where it ever is, where it ever was. With a $3.5 million market cap. Now, they had a fully diluted market cap of around 10 million. The team just literally burned 6 million tokens, right? $600,000. Crazy shit. Or 6 million worth of tokens. That's what they burned. $6 million worth of tokens. Yo, that shows like, damn, they could have also just walked away with that money. But they just burned it. They're dedicated, man. Yeah, then I, as an investor, am very dedicated as well. Fucking love this, man. Love this. And they had some good launches. They have a good UI. They have a good refund policy. This thing is so fucking underestimated. So underestimated. It's crazy. So yeah, that's what I'm getting into. So we had Sparta. We had Playable. We had Dummy Online. And we had Engine Starter. And the last thing that I want to talk about is, of course, Web3 whales, right? We do need to make some changes on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko because this is outdated right here. Doesn't look good, but doesn't matter. We know what we do. This is my project, okay? I'm the founder of this, and Web3 whales, as you can see, just went down together with the market. Nothing too crazy. All-time high, 8 cents, now at 1.3 or so, right? So nothing weird right there. Still has the alt stuff right here, all over the place. Therefore, it needs to update. For the people that are new, what we do is we collectively invest in launchpads, in startups, in IDOs, etc. And you stake the Web3 Whales token, and the profits that we make, we distribute that amount to our stakers in USDT. Very simple. So you can go to the D app. That's the old one, of course. You can go to the D app and you can go to staking right here. Now, what I love is we have a total supply of 100 million. There is 72 million tokens staked. That's 72% of the supply staked. And also, because we like to burn, 3.5 million tokens are already burned. This thing is getting more deflationary by day. This scarcity, it's getting scared. I'm getting scared of how scary it is. It's crazy, right? Because we also, if we have like 100K profit or so, we let the community vote, right? Like, hey, how much percent do you want to go to the buyback and the burn? So we don't just burn, we first buy it back, right? Raise the price and then burn it so it can never be sold. Our project, like every project depends on the market. But our project does even more, right? Because if the whole market goes down, yeah, then we don't have profits, right? If these new projects go down. If these new projects, however, go up, then we sell for a profit. So we depend a lot on the market. So this is the Launchpad vesting list that I have. And for example, these are projects that we invested in, right? So Wisdomize, for example, right? Pretty new. But here we invested here. And then in the beginning, it does this was a 5x or so. But it's nice, it's profits, right? However, now it sits at a 25%. And unfortunately, this is one of the better charts so far. So we're not taking much profits right now. So it looks like, there's not much going on. But once the market turns around, all these projects that we invested in have market caps under 100 million. 1 million, also on 100 million, but most of them are under 1 million. These are microcaps. A lot of them won't make it. But there will be some that do make it and that pump like crazy. And once there's such a pump, for example, with this thing right here, and it does this because it doesn't take much liquidity to do so. And we find out like, hey, we have a, I don't know, 12% or 12x gain. That's a lot of profit going into the project and to the holders. So that's my top 5 of microcap tokens, really. It's not even low cap, but microcap tokens. But again, timing the market is so important. And I know what you want to say. You should not time the bottom. I'm not saying that. You should not time the exact bottom and you should not time the exact top. But you should take a look at charts and be like, okay, this is the phase of the market where it's time for these kind of coins, right? Just like the last 2 years, it wasn't time for altcoins, right? Timing is important. Everybody that bought altcoins in the last 2 years has gotten nowhere, okay? Well, not everybody. You can be lucky, of course. But again, if you look at altcoins on the Bitcoin pair, hey, we're at the bottom, right? So, no, like, yeah, you could, of course, bought here, sold here. That's trading. But investing-wise, we're at the bottom, right? So timing is super important. And I think that the time will come for these microcaps. And that and when, right? Well, once we really break out, in my opinion, once we really break out. And I think that should be somewhat like end of this year. Starting from October, I see as realistic. So I want to leave it there. I hope it was useful. Also, the thought process that I applied to it. If you think so, let me know down below. Like the video. Let me know your top 5 if you want to, right? I want to look into that. I'm generally, I want to know, why are you so convinced about certain small cap coins? What's so good about it? Because I need to expand, and I need to expand. So let me know, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.